Easy, Rex. Settle down now. Heel. The moment the police dog exploded into furious barking, the entire funeral hall froze, because no one had ever seen a canine react like this to a sealed coffin, especially not during a quiet service meant to honor a young man everyone believed was already gone forever. The German shepherd lunged forward, claws scraping against polished wood, teeth bared, chest heaving, eyes locked on the still face inside the coffin as if it were staring straight at danger instead of death. And the officers holding the leash suddenly realized this was not grief or confusion. This was an alert. The dog wasn't mourning. He was warning. Just minutes earlier, the room had been heavy with silence, broken only by soft crying and whispered prayers as family members stood around the coffin of 22-year-old Ethan Carter, a college student who had supposedly died in a late-night car accident. His face looked calm, almost too calm, pale under the funeral lights, lips slightly parted, like someone caught in the middle of a breath. And no one questioned it because grief often blinds people to details they don't want to see. But the canine, a seasoned police dog named Rex, had been brought in only to escort an officer paying respects. And the second Rex walked past the coffin, everything changed. Rex stopped, dead in his tracks, ears snapping forward, body stiffening as if an invisible switch had flipped inside him. Then he let out a deep growl that echoed across the room, a sound so raw and urgent it made several people step back in fear. Before we begin, don't forget to hit like, repost, or share, and subscribe. And I'm really curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Back to the story. The handler tried to calm him, whispering commands, pulling gently on the leash. But Rex ignored everything, jumping up and planting his paws on the edge of the coffin, barking directly at Ethan's face as if trying to wake him from something far worse than sleep. Gasps filled the room. A woman screamed, and the funeral director rushed forward, demanding the dog be removed immediately. That's when Rex did something no one expected. He lowered his head, pressed his nose close to Ethan's mouth, and let out a sharp, frantic bark, then another, each one faster, more desperate, like he was racing against time no one else could feel. The handler's expression changed instantly, because Rex was trained to detect subtle signs of life, since most humans could never notice. And this behavior was identical to what he did during rescue missions when someone was buried but still breathing. The officer stepped closer, heart pounding, eyes narrowing, as he noticed something horrifyingly small, something no one had paid attention to before. A faint fog barely visible forming on the inside of the coffin's glass panel with each passing second. Someone whispered, "That's not possible," while another person backed away in shock, and Rex barked louder, tail rigid, body shaking with urgency, because to him the truth was already clear. Ethan Carter was not dead, and whatever had put him in that coffin was still hidden, waiting to be uncovered. Panic surged through the funeral hall as the officer acted faster than anyone could comprehend. He signaled to the director to step back, keeping everyone at a distance. Rex's barking intensified, echoing off the high ceilings. Each bark sharp, urgent, as if the dog could somehow communicate the gravity of the situation. The officer's hands trembled slightly as he reached for the latch of the coffin. Every eye in the room followed, disbelief painted on every face. When the lid creaked open, the air shifted, a cold, heavy scent mixing with the stale, floral aroma that had filled the room. And there he was, Ethan, alive, but weak, gasping for breath, eyes fluttering open as if awakening from a nightmare that no one could imagine. Medical personnel who had been quietly attending the funeral rushed forward, disbelief mingling with frantic energy. Machines were brought in, oxygen masks hovered, and hands checked pulses, blood pressure, any sign of real danger. Ethan's chest rose slowly. The shallow breaths labored but unmistakably alive. The funeral attendees, stunned beyond words, could barely comprehend the miracle unfolding in front of them. Some began to sob uncontrollably. Others clutched each other for support, while Rex, still on high alert, circled the coffin, growling softly but steadily, clearly ensuring that the danger was contained. The officer knelt beside Ethan, eyes scanning for any explanation, while trying to calm the crowd. "How is this possible?" he whispered almost to himself. But the answer lay not in disbelief but in the precise, calculated training of Rex. The dog had sensed Ethan's irregular heartbeat, the faint rise and fall of his chest hidden beneath the coffin's layers, and had refused to leave until a human acknowledged what he already knew. Ethan was alive, trapped, and in immediate need of medical attention. As the paramedics carefully lifted Ethan from the coffin, more details emerged. The young man had been suffering from an extremely rare medical condition, a sudden cardiac arrest during the night that mimicked death. The paramedics confirmed that without immediate resuscitation and without Rex's intervention alerting someone to the situation, Ethan would not have survived the funeral. The family collapsed in tears, a mixture of horror, relief, and profound gratitude flooding every corner of the room. They clung to him, whispering promises and apologies, while Ethan's weak but alive gaze met Rex's, and for the first time he smiled, a faint, fragile smile of recognition and thanks. No one could stop talking about the miracle as it unfolded. The officer explained the situation calmly, but the hall buzzed with astonishment. News crews had already begun recording, documenting the unbelievable event. A police dog saving a young man from a fate even death seemed ready to claim. Social media would later explode with images and stories of Rex, the hero canine whose instincts and loyalty had done what no human had noticed in time. Everyone in the room, grieving, terrified, and stunned, witnessed a miracle not through faith alone but through the unbreakable bond between a dog and the life he refused to let go. Rex, now calm but watchful, stayed close to Ethan, gently resting his head against his leg as if assuring him he would never be alone again. The room slowly quieted, the chaos replaced by awe and gratitude. It was a reminder of the fragility of life, the mysterious ways instinct and love can intervene, and the powerful truth that sometimes the guardians we least expect, four-legged, loyal, and vigilant, can be the difference between life and death. By the time Ethan was safely transported to the hospital for full recovery, the story had already begun to ripple across the city. Headlines would scream of the police dog who refused to be ignored, of a young man saved moments before a premature burial, and of the miraculous instincts that defy understanding. But for those who had been present, the memory would never fade, the raw, unwavering courage of a dog standing between death and life, and the moment everyone realized that heroes don't always wear badges, they sometimes wear fur and a harness. This story touched millions of hearts. Did it touch yours? Let us know with a like, comment yes, and subscribe or follow for more amazing stories like this.